Hey everyone, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at a classic Megaman 1994 TV series. Yeah, it was an anime at one point. So in case you don't know, Mega Man, of course, is based off the hit video game franchise from Capcom, from way back in the '80s. I mean, this was on the original Nintendo days and stuff like that. But here's the thing: is that this is not NT Warrior. NT Warrior came out in the around 2000 roughly, and I know there's another Mega Man game or Mega Man anime that came out around 2015 or something like that. I never saw that, so I'm not going to reviewing that. I will review NT Warrior one time, but right now let's focus on the old one because that's what I'm focusing on right now today. So I'll tell you right now, this was a very corny show. Like by definitions of today, this is super corny. This is real, real corny. But by then, it was still corny. But as a kid, I loved this show. I think this was a iconic show. I mean, I was a fan of Mega Man when I was a kid. I still am a fan of Mega Man. I mean, more so the games than the anime. But I really did love everything about this, to be honest. And you know, it's a very episodic type show. I mean, it's like more so like Mega Man goes on adventures to save the day from the evil minions of Dr. Wily and stuff like that. Um, I mean, you know, there's not much to say about the story for this. Like, it's your typical story. I think the more interesting thing is what happened to Mega Man in 1994. What made it kind of disappear from the face of the planet. So, for a kind of short version of that, real fast, I'll tell you guys what I know. So, what I know is that Mega Man was a 27 episode thing. It was 2 seasons long. I actually own both seasons. Actually, they're right behind me as I speak. But what's funny is that it was canceled due to apparently time constraints. Capcom was like, you know, listen, we also running out of money too with it. I guess even though it was doing very well in terms of views and more so the ratings, it was doing very well there. I don't think it garnered enough support that they were like, you know what, let's keep it going. Like it was a collaboration effect because you actually had an American company working with Japanese company to make this, and that was something that was happening a lot in the '90s as anime grew more popular in the West. But you know, I guess they just had to let it go, and they went, hey, you know what? Let's focus on something else and make new, you know, make new IPs and stuff like that. We can't really focus on this anymore. Now, the main concept, in case you are so super new to Mega Man, if you've never played a Mega Man game, the anime is very similar to the games in many ways, but also at the same time very different, I want to say. So, Dr. Light is this old man who creates Mega Man. It's a robot with advanced AI. He also makes Roll, which is his faithful companion dog, and he also makes actually not, is it Roll? No, it's Rush. That's his dog. Wow, I said that goes to show my age and my mistakes. Rush is his dog. Roll is his sister, who both are created by Dr. Light to kind of fight against Dr. Wily, who's a notorious villain who is creating robots to kind of do bad things to the world and kind of take over the world for him. Now, you know, the whole thing about the episodic nature was that's the story of it. Like, there's really no story. Every type is more so Mega Man having to deal with a new threat appearing and then him kind of losing or maybe kind of succeeding barely, having to use either his sister or his dog to kind of help him out in combat. Various other characters showed up sometimes. You had, of course, Mega Man's brother, air quotes, Proto Man, excuse me, who would help him out once in a while and also go against him at times. It's your typical Mega Man scenario and your typical Mega Man concept, but it's really the whole fun of that is if you were a kid watching this, you were like, oh man, I hope Mega Man wins. Oh god, Mega Man's losing the fight. You know, what's he gonna do now? And then he would drink either like his soda that would give him super energy, or he would steal one of the powers of the other robots, which is something that's iconic from the games because they would, you know, after defeat, he would take their powers. But he did this more so in the show. He would actually take their powers on the spot and then be able to use whatever power they used. You know, it's not the best show in the world, but hey, listen, if you're a kid, you'll definitely find some enjoyment. It's for all ages in that sense. You know, if you're now an adult like I am, of course, you know, it's not as great, to be honest, but it is what it is. Voice acting wise and kind of the soundtrack in general is hit or miss. Like, I tell you right now, I think a lot of people in the anime community have heard the opening song for this. It's, he's a fighting robot, do Mega Man, fighting Mega Man. You know, that it's like a really yeah, by the way, you notice I can't really sing it. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not even going to try to really sing it, but I'm just trying to sing the concept of it. If you ever heard that, you know now what it's from. But it's very, very like I said, it's done by an American studio, also as a Japanese studio too, as well. So it's like you have some elements that are definitely from our side of the time of making anime, where voice acting was hit or miss. Like, I'll tell you right now, I didn't mind. I still don't mind Mega Man's voice. I think it fits his character to be kind of corny and goofy. The other characters though are really sometimes very cringy, and overall it's very hit or miss with the music. Sometimes the music's good, sometimes the music's very generic. even by today's standards, even by then standards, I think. Animation wise, I'll tell you though, for the animation, it still kind of holds up in terms of if you want like an old classic, it looks decent for an old classic. I didn't think anything wrong with it. I watched the episode recently of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, it looks pretty good for the most part. So it's definitely something that's not too bad to look at on the eyes. But overall, I want to say Mega Man 1994, I think it's a nostalgia type series. Like, you'll watch it now and you'll see what's wrong with it and be like, I don't know if I want to watch this or continue watching this. If you watched it when you were a kid, or if you want something from your past and you just want to see how it holds up now, you'll be like, oh, wow, this show really went downhill in my head, at least, in terms of, how great I thought of it as a kid, and now how, adults and go, oh, that's really bad. But that's why, if I had to rate it between an A through F, I'm going to give it a C plus. I think that even by yesteryears of how it looked and how it was, it's still a C plus even back then. But today's standards, it's not good. But I'm trying to rate it on a basis of both, like I always with these reviews. Like, older reviews is always kind of hard to do because I don't want to rate it too much on today's standards, of course. Because I mean, if you rate it on anything even close to the century, you would give it an F. Like, it would hands down be an F show. But realizing that it's old, of course, and you realizing that this was made during a different year and different kind of way of animation style, it definitely holds up in its own right. Anyways, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, the whole nine. Until our paths cross again in the next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.